Hi everyone, we're doing this fun little activity at my house. My husband told me this story about how he read about a guy who took drawings of bicycles and then he created them. So I thought, let's apply that to some sewing ideas. And what I've done is got my kids to draw little monster creations, and then we're going to attempt to make them. So this is the first step. The first step is seeing the kids' drawing. So they've just come out to the garage to show me, into my workspace, to show me their drawing. So we're going to turn the camera around and we're going to see, can I turn the camera around? Right, I'm going to come down this way because it doesn't seem to want to work. But we're going to go to Eva first. All right, Eva, show us your drawing. Cool, he's really cool. He's got a tie and everything.
He's a business monster.
A business monster. We're going to attempt to make him. So we're going to have to pick some fabric. That'll be our next step. Right, Otis, what have you chosen? Oh, whoa, I like his little fangs. Awesome. He's really cute. They're both awesome. So we're going to try to sew him, aren't we? Okay, Luan, show us what you've got. Yours is tiny. Whoa, look at him. Look at his jaws. Oh, is he upside down? Is that him there? Oh, I like his little red ears. Are they little red ears? What are they? Cheeks, of course. Right, we're going to attempt to make all of these. It might take us a little bit of time, but we're going to try and sew them ourselves, aren't we? Awesome. We'll let you know the progress. Okay, see you soon. Hi, everyone. We're up to the second stage of our monster making. And what I did overnight to make it a bit easier is I cut out all the pieces that the guys are going to need for their monsters. So I tried as hard as I could to match the monster to the picture for fabric. And these guys with their scissors are cutting out little pieces of interfacing, so iron-on interfacing, to go under every little piece of their monster so that we can iron it onto a backing fabric and make it one piece. Now I figured this might be the easiest way to do it for kids to sew, because then you've got one solid piece for sewing some details on, or appliquing some detail, or sorry, adding some detail to your applique there. So this is stage 2, cutting out your interfacing, your iron-on interfacing, so that there's a little piece for each of the items. Otis, can you show us how you've cut some interfacing for these pieces here? So underneath, you've got a piece of interfacing you're going to iron on, and what piece are you doing now?
The foot.
The foot, and you've done an ear. Where's the ear that you had the, oh, here it is. Here's the ear. So he's put a little bit of interfacing on the ear. And then we're going to find some backing fabric and we're going to iron it all on to the one piece of backing fabric. And we're doing some embroidery stitches on our monsters. So last night, what I did while the kids were in bed is I very loosely tacked with this white thread, just real loose, all the little pieces of felt on. So having tacked all these little pieces on, Otis is now able to go around and do these little embellished stitches to create the final touches. And right now he's going around the eyes doing what he's just learned how to do, which is blanket stitch. Are you finding that tricky, Otis? You're doing very well, looks awesome. So he's done the two little eyes. And once all these little finishing touches are done, we're going to go on to the next step, which is creating a backing and sewing the front and back pieces together so then they can stuff them with stuffing, which Otis is very much looking forward to. Awesome. Good work, Odie. Hi everybody, we're up to making the backings on our monsters. Otis has completed this part here, but we're going to go back to Luan here. So what Luan's done is he's put his front part of his monster face down on a backing piece of fabric, and you use some chalk, didn't you, Luan? And you chalked around the shape, the pattern. You show us what you did. That's it. Chalked all around it. And then what you're left with, if you take your monster off the top of that piece, what are you left with? The shape, aren't you? That you need to cut out. So Eva's up to cutting out the bottom piece that matches her top piece of her monster. And Otis has done it over here, and he's up to sewing them together. So what he's done is put the two pieces together. So this is the backing piece here that he cut out after he traced around the top piece. Put them both together with right sides together, so you can't see the monster, can you, Otis? And then what have you done here?
Put needles through each side.
Put the pins in the side, and why have you done that?
To hold it together.
Hold the two pieces together. And so now Otis is going to help me, and we're going to sew around the edges of his monster. But what we're going to do is we're going to leave a little section about here that we don't sew shut. And why do we need to leave an opening, Otis?
Because we're going to put stuffing in.
Yeah, but what's the first thing you do when you've finished sewing the edges together? Turn it in the right way, maybe?
Turn it in the right way.
Turn it out the right way so we can see the monster on the right side. And then what are you going to stuff it with, Otis?
Stuffing.
And where are we getting a stuffing from?
In the garage.
What's in the garage?
Stuffing.
An old cushion. So we've got an old cushion here, and inside an old cushion is all the stuffing. That's right, Luan, you've done this before, eh? And we're going to use old cushions to stuff our monsters. So when we come back, our next video is going to show everybody finishing up their stuffed monsters. We're finishing up our monsters today. So overnight, Otis and Luan stuffed their monsters with the stuffing that we got from an old cushion. And then the very, very final stage was to sew up the little gap that we had, which Otis had left here, and you can see here I've stitched it up for him. So that's where he was putting his stuffing into, and we've stitched it up. So just to show you how that works, here's Eva's one. So she stuffed that with the stuffing from the cushion, and then here is the opening that she had for putting the stuffing in. And now we want to close it up so that it becomes like a little toy or a cushion, whatever you want it to be in the end. And so we're putting the two ends together, and I'm just putting the needle through both sides and just stitching the hole closed. And we keep going all the way along that gap that was open for putting the stuffing in, like this, until we've got it completely sealed with a tight stitch. I won't have a chance to finish it all because I've got to go all the way up in this little video. But when you get to the end of it, I'm going to show you how to tie it off. You put a stitch through like this, so through both layers, and what you'll have is a wee loop, and you can go through the middle of the loop, and that creates a wee knot. You can go back into the same space and do the same thing again, like that, through the loop, create a wee knot, and then you can cut it off there, or as I like to do it, just to kind of create a little bit more strength, is to put the needle back in to the toy and come back out through the edge there and pull it a bit tight, and then I'd cut it there with the scissors, and then when I let it go, that end will slip into the inside of the toy and you'll have a secure ending. Okay, so hopefully you guys have had luck making your little monsters like these guys that look absolutely fantastic. One thing we did note when we were making these is because we used material for our creatures, the material did fray because we didn't overlock the edges. So felt would be a really good thing to use, because you can see with all these little face features on Otis's one, none of them are fraying because felt doesn't fray, but fabric does. So that's a bit of a shame, but we're going to go ahead and go over the top of that as a secondary measure. So yeah, Hope you guys have fun making your monsters. We certainly did. It was a labour of love. Right, good luck.